Welcome to Story Guide, where I'm going be homeless, son. Homeless soon. God, I wish I can afford to pay for my school tuition. Life is too hard when the country has high standards for you to have a low salary work. Best friend stole my camera and still acted innocent. This happened way back in 2019. One of my closest friends, that I considered my best friend, stole my camera and still acted innocent after it. During our performance task week in school, when projects in all subjects has to be done, required one member of each group to bring a camera to film a group project. During this week, we bring all kinds of gadgets to school like speakers, laptops, and cameras. So most of us in class had one. I borrowed a Nikon DSLR camera from my aunt, because my family didn't have one, and I brought it to school. We had to go to a different area to practice a theater performance, so everyone had to leave their items except for phones and wallets in the classroom. I told my seatmate if I could place my camera in her bag since mine was small and wouldn't fit inside. She told me that it would be okay to leave it on my table, since that's what others were also doing. So the class left the room and was locked for safety. We didn't come back until 40 minutes later when the bell rang. When we came back in the room, my camera was gone and nowhere to be found. I searched the whole room and my locker. I even called my other close friends from different sections to ask if they might have taken it to borrow, but they all said no. Told my classmates about it and helped me look for it too. The class president asked us to open our bags to check and go out of the room to open our lockers, 5 students at a time. 2 hours passed and one of my classmates told me he knew who took it, but wouldn't mention the name. So when the classes ended, I asked my other close friend to ask our class officer who it was, and after she was told, we went out. She told me not to freak out or get angry. It was Ika. Let's just call her that now. Ika was one of my closest friends in our class. We always hung out, eat together, laugh together, everything. When I heard about it, I didn't know what to feel at that moment. It was like my world stopped. I felt sad, angry, disbelief, and disappointment at the same time. When I got home, cried a lot. I realized that this must be what a heartbreak in friendship feels like. It was just different from a love kind of heartbreak. The next day, I told my friends that we had to act normal for our project's sake, because we were in the same group, and it would be difficult to do if we were fighting at that time. When we saw each other that day, we could both tell that something was different. She didn't say sorry or come clean at all. She just kept her distance and came to us for the projects. The day after, Ika asked me to go with her to talk to her mom about a report about her stealing from another classmate. When we got to meet her mom, she was being asked about the report that was made, and still Ika kept denying it and even faked tears. I felt so sad. To also see her mom cry because she felt embarrassed for what happened, especially that she was a school employee. Until now, still think about how our friendship could have continued and makes me sad. This time, it's going to happen. I've never been at a point like this. Not even last year when I had the rope in my hands. Not even all those times I went to the bridge to do it and bottled it. This time, really want to do it. I'm financially fucked. I have a mortgage and living cost that is destroying my income, a credit balance I can never pay, a crippling weed addiction can't stop spiraling back into. My job is terrible. I get paid, but I don't even open the laptop most days. A beautiful fiance who shouldn't need to put up any of this shit. And a family I feel I hinder more than I've opened up. I've been to a psychologist. I've tried Prozac, sertraline, and CBT therapy. I found the root of my problems, knowing the root doesn't curb any of this for me. I told my closest friend and my fiance about my suicidal thoughts last year. I don't know what possessed me to do that. I don't want people to worry. I don't want people to care really. Because I certainly don't care about myself. I'm so full of indifference for everything. My family, my friends, my job, my life, and upcoming wedding. I don't want any of this. I want nothing. I don't want a fuss. I just want to disappear, but I can't. Because everything will catch up. People will worry. People will be incessantly making sure I'm okay. And I wish they wouldn't, because they should be focusing on themselves. I just want to be left alone forever. There is no other alternative in this situation anymore. I have Oxy and a bottle of Captain Morgan's at hand. This is the last time I'm putting anything online. Not sure if I'm gonna leave a note or anything. If you find this or somehow someone deduces this was me, this was nobody's fault but mine. Nobody could have helped. Please don't say you could have done something. You couldn't. The grass will grow and the birds will sing even when I'm gone. You don't need this anymore. It's going to be okay. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I wish I already lived alone with my cat. In my culture, it is common for people to live with their parents, even at 30 years of age and older. I am 19, still live with my dad, and I don't currently have a job since art school is already taking up enough time from my life. We've had my cat since she was 6 months old. My ex-babysitter found her on the street and asked if we were willing to take care of her. I was dealing with the loss of the cat we had at that time, so I was reluctant, but I accepted. She's almost 4 years old now, and she's the best thing I could have ever asked for. Point is, I don't think my dad, who is in charge of feeding her, etc., or his girlfriend understand her as much as I do. She likes getting on top of our table because she likes being as big and tall as us. She likes to try our food, even when she already has in the past, and didn't like it. She likes to eat with at least another person to keep her company, and eats at the same time as us most of the time, to feel included. She likes playing with us, but doesn't understand when her scratching and biting hurts, so she's confused when someone yells at her. Although my father is the one that mainly takes care of her, I'm the one she trusts the most and spends most of her time with. Because I was the only one to make an effort to show her kindness and try to get her to open up when we first got her, even though my father told me to leave her alone for a bit. She was hiding in the library. Everyone in my family calls her my shadow, since she always follows me everywhere. I feel like if I lived alone with her, she would feel included. Every time I'm home alone, she seems more comfortable. I'm okay with her being on the table, even while I'm eating. I always keep her company when she makes me follow her to the kitchen, eat with her. I'm okay with her biting and scratching me, because it doesn't hurt me. I just feel like the others don't make as much of an effort to make her feel included. Self-entitled mother stole our table. We were in a restaurant in Tokyo and followed instructions to get a table for lunch. This would consist of getting one of the tags at the door with the number and placing on the table to reserve. We did that, and it was a 2-table, joined area. Another lady with a child, also occupying a 4-seater table, was staring at me slyly. For some reason, should have realized something was up then. When we were queuing, my husband noticed a woman with a baby prom, went to our table, and moved a baby chair over. Then she queued behind us. We went back and found our tag was switched. The number was different. We got our food, sat down at our table. Seeing she needed the table badly, moved one table away from us so she could use it. The lady was furious and got one of the staff to ask us to move. I replied in Japanese, I'm not a native speaker, but I know the language to converse, and we said no. We got the table first and booked it the right way. She then came over and scolded us, and I replied again in Japanese. Then she spoke to us in English, telling us that she had the right, as she had a child, and we should jolly well sit elsewhere. She ignored me, and instead directed to my husband in English, making me wonder if she was not Japanese, and obviously appealing her situation to a man. Anyhow, my husband said, you could have just asked us nicely instead of switching our tags. She claimed it was empty. We asked for the CCTV to be shown of which both staff and her paled. My husband felt this was beneath us to argue. She was obviously throwing out the I'm a mother card. We then told her, since she wanted it so badly, she could have our table and the food. We left, and then we realized, since the shop was useless at supporting us, we wanted our money back. So we went back to get a refund. The whole time I interpreted for my husband to get the refund. I saw the lady with the child who swapped our card was staring at us worriedly, perhaps wondering if we were going to complain about her. Anyhow, when we got the refund, we walked out and she pretended to feed her child. I just said, hope you are proud of your values to your kids after your self-entitled behavior earlier. I didn't bother to translate. I'm sure she got my meaning. We didn't ask the other lady to clarify. We should have. But my guess at seeing her face, she would have feigned ignorance. My guess, seeing how she threw her card out, It was not her first time either. I am surprised as we have never had the situation in Japan of parental self-entitlement, so was disappointed as we have visited a few times and loved the place. It did not spoil our holidays, but made me now more cautious when going to such places and to sit there while another person orders. I come from a country that has a lesser system than this restaurant in question, and so far, if anyone wants a table that seems empty, and they have more people, they will ask politely, and usually we will be okay about it.